Good morning again, and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strawn along with Chester Robards. And this morning, we are talking with Arawak X. They're back, and every time they're here, they have some major announcements to make. And we're looking forward to hearing what they have to say this morning. Very pleased to welcome back to the show DRC Rahming Jr. and Timothy Bain. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Great to have you. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. So we know that the most recent thing we've heard was that you're about to launch your third, or you might have done it already by now, third investable company.
No, I wasn't. We weren't going to launch a company without inviting you guys.
Right.
So
Okay. So where do things stand with that at this point?
10 a.m. on Monday.
Monday
So at
coming.
10 a.m. on Monday, we're going to do something similar to the last one that we did.
Mhm.
Invite the press out, of course, so you guys can interview the founders. All I can say is that these two lovely ladies are young, they're ambitious, and what they're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
I know I'm not allowed to sell the company, but it's in a space that we've been talking about for since I was like a little kid. So
Wow.
so that's 20 years I've been hearing talk about talk about it, and so finally somebody has been able to step up and try and go after the problem.
Oh, really?
Well,
Okay.
that's
So
exciting.
this is a
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
it's very special tease there. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all you can say about it.
That is all that I can say about it. I'm. I mean, Monday is only a couple days away, so
That is true. That is
um,
true.
you know. So if you see me out at the bar on this weekend, I still will not say, even if you buy me a couple of drinks.
All right. All right. So when we find out the company on Monday, how
Mhm.
soon before we can start investing in the company?
As soon as the information becomes public, it
Hmm.
becomes available for
Yeah.
investment.
Okay.
So just in the same way as the last two.
Yeah.
Um, so the reason being, once again, for people that are listening, is because information is people can take advantage of it, certain information. We're trying to make a fair market.
Right. All right. All right. So let's take a step back for those who might
Mhm.
not have been paying attention or might not be familiar with what you've done so far, all of this excitement that we've had to deal with over the past few months. But tell us about Arawak X for those who might not know.
So ArrowX is an online portal that you can go onto, and what it does is it links investors and businesses that are looking for funding. So investors who have, you got a couple extra dollars, you want to put it into a possibly an investment that can possibly 10x, and then a business that is looking to take their business 10 times. And we bring them together over a regulated marketplace. So we're regulated by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas to do
Mhm.
this business. And what it does is it allows you to invest in a space that was previously only relegated to high net worth individuals, accredited investors. And so there's a big movement around the world to democratize that space of finance. And so there are a bunch of companies in the U.S. and the U.K. We're the first company in this region to do that and allow our companies to access that kind of funding, because it
Mhm.
is the internet, so you can access funding from anywhere.
Right. Right. And it's making it a lot more accessible to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we know that you had two companies before.
Mm-hmm.
Where do things stand with them? I know they had certain targets they had to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that whole process to us again. And are they meeting them? Is there a deadline
Mm-hmm.
before that has to
So
happen?
so they have to meet a minimum target for the raise to be deemed successful.
Hmm.
Once they pass their minimum, there will be an opportunity. They kind of set like a minimum and then a maximum that they'll take. There's an opportunity still to invest, but the raise is already successful. And so
Hmm.
you could think of that like, for example, with one of the companies, it's a technology company. How they work is they scale very wonderfully. The more money they have, the more money they'll just spend in marketing and stuff like that. So that's kind of why you can do the minimum and maximum. And all businesses are kind of like that.
Hmm.
And so they have 90 days to basically sell their idea to the public. And and then the market judges. The market decides whether or not this is a good business idea. So what is going on with the two companies specifically is they are meeting some of their targets. Also, I'm not allowed to speak about information that's not public.
Oh,
but
so you can't tell us where they've passed it. They've passed the minimum.
When it's public information,
okay,
we can have a conversation. When it's not public information, I can't have that conversation.
Okay.
However, that being said, I will say that they have a lot of hype. Both companies have a lot of hype around them, and we fully expect that they'll be fine.
And it's not been 90 days yet.
It has not been 90 days. 90 days is actually a really short time to do the whole finance dance.
Yeah.
If you've ever been a part of that, on the other side as a business person, financing it's tough. It takes a long time. It's one of the reasons why we stepped into, we were management consultants before this, working with companies doing financing. And it's sometimes you can be looking for financing for years to grow your business. It's crazy. So what the 90 days though does allow is it means that the investor's money doesn't get tied up waiting for that. So remember, our job is investor protection as well as facilitating the marketplace.
Now,
so that's why the 90 days.
When will the 90 days be up for those two?
I think it's a little bit less than 30 days now. So so they're coming into the last third if you're a hockey fan.
Sometime next month.
Yeah. Okay.
So
if you are new to this and you're waiting for your ASU draw, this will be, you still have some time.
You still got some time. You still got some time.
Okay.
It's I'm just getting a note. November 22nd. Both are November 23rd. I apologize.
Okay.
Both are.
All right. So just under a month.
Yeah.
Just under a month.
Just under a month.
Yeah. All right.
So
that's good stuff. All right. So what are some of the things that we'll talk about the companies in a bit, but if you are new to this, if you are a potential investor, what are some of the things you need to keep in mind, and who's is right for, who's is not right for, if you want to take part?
With all investing, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. There is no such thing as a safe investment. All investments carry risks. Okay, now that we've gotten the legal disclaimer out of the way, so what's exciting about these kinds of companies is the only companies we're listing are those that have the potential to do 10 times to 10x minimum. So, and the reason being is because these are riskier investments. Let's be honest. But at a certain point, the risk reward makes sense, right? If I put, because what the strategy venture capitalists use is they make a lot of bets. So they'll take their money, they'll divide it up, and they'll make a lot of them. And because they know that their winners carry all their losers. So we suggest that people take a similar strategy with their investment in this asset class. Make a lot of bets. Say, because, for you, I mean, not for you, but for most people, they could get their hands on a couple $100 to $1,000 at any time, maybe even 10 grand, maybe even a little bit more. Whatever that money that you can get your hands on, place that on a company. And then what will happen is if it 10x's, now you have quite a bit more money, and then you can start to look at, wealth management, wealth safer, more stable assets, because now you have money. Safe and stable assets are really, frankly, for people who have got a lot of money sitting around. They're trying to preserve it. There's no sense putting your $100 down and looking for your 2% interest, 2% interest, 5% interest on $100. It's just not enough money for the interest to even mean anything.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's just the math of it.
Yeah.
And so this asset class is new. It's exciting. It's the first time really that some regulations have been put around it. Usually private equity is like the wild west of finance. You have to be really super savvy to participate in it. What we have done is, and we working with the commission have done, is put a rule set together that allows for certain things. So a little bit of structure, not so much structure that it crushes the company with regulatory reporting, but enough structure that this is not just any old person can just sign up and crowdfund. So we have a rigorous vetting process. It actually takes, so for companies that are looking to invest, it takes about 3 to 6 months for you to, from start to finish, to get listed on the platform. And we make sure we do all of our due diligence, do all the checks on people. We vet companies beyond just the normal due diligence. We do a team that produces magic. So team stands for the executive, advisors, and management. So who's running this company? Take a look at who's running this company. If they've done something similar or have the potential to do it, then that makes sense, because it doesn't matter how great the idea is, without the right team, it's not going to work. So that's the team. The magic part is M, a market that is big enough. So market means enough customers. A, you have access to those customers. G, growth of at least 10 times. You're trying to grow your business at least 10 times. I, you're doing something innovative. And innovation doesn't necessarily mean technology. It means something new. And there's a lot of ways in business to do something innovative. And then C is that corporate governance that lawyers and accountants and everybody else loves to talk about. Finance people spend majority of their time talking about, but is not the running a business.
Right.
But all that's there too. So.
Yeah. All right. So you did answer the next question about the companies that what they need to do and ensure. So I know I've asked this before, but are there companies for which this is just not the right way for you to go?
Yes. So there are definitely companies where this is not the right way. So if you are in a highly speculative, or if you have to keep the idea secret, because it's not at the point where you could take it to the public, you cannot use crowdfunding. Crowdfunding by its nature is very public enterprise. You will literally have the whole town talking about you and your company. And so if you're not willing to put yourself and your company in that position, don't do crowdfunding. That's not where crowdfunding is, though, is it allows you to really reach out to your customer base, engage them in a way that wasn't necessarily possible in the past. Because once you have, say, 1,000 investors, that's 1,000 evangelists for your company that are going to make sure that everybody that they know is using the product, because at the end of the day, it's their company. And so it's a different way of looking at the relationship between ownership and society of a company. And so it's new, it's exciting, it's what exists in public markets, but the technology and the regulations have brought it down to companies under $10 million can now access this as a tool.
I have this is a tricky question, but I mean, are the companies here, or the majority of them, too traditionally minded for this? Do you think this is a certain type, a cutting edge type mindset that
I don't think
you need
so.
to have?
So, and the reason being is, I think what has happened in the past, and this is me speaking, not CTO of ArrowhackX, this is DRC Rahming Jr.'s opinion. What has happened in the past is because business people haven't had tools, entrepreneurs haven't had tools, they've had the tools of going to the bank. And banks are naturally conservative. And you can only borrow as much money to your collateral. So what ends up happening is people fit their ideas to the amount of collateral they have. And so what has happened is you've seen some really great business minds have kind of had their feet and hands tied and then thrown into the ocean and expected to swim. And then people are saying, hey, why can't you swim? We gave you the money you needed, but well, you tied the guy's hands and feet with debt. And so he was never able to get the business to the point. And so he's undercapitalized. So it's and when I say, this has been a problem since, the foundation of the country. There are a lot of really, really excellent entrepreneurs here. And I'm just one of them from my generation, but even in previous generations of entrepreneurs who didn't have an opportunity to get out in front. And we see the results of it now. Our economy is basically built on the pillars of tourism with a little bit of financial services. And then when a pandemic or any world event happens, our economy goes crashing down.
Yeah.
You know, mind you, there are many smart people that are here that have degrees and business experience in other industries besides tourism and financial services, but we haven't supported them. Well, the truth is there wasn't really any mechanisms to support them. And so it was a structural problem, because at the end of the day, you know, without capital, you can't do anything. You can't buy a car, you can't send your kids to school, you can't buy a house, you can't build a business, you can't employ people. And it's only businesses that really employ people and pay taxes that make sure our society runs. So when we get the businesses properly funded and right, then all of our economic problems are going to go away. Well, not all of them, but it'll put a big chunk dent into it.
It'll be well on our way, definitely. Chester, you were.
Yeah, I was going to ask: is Arawak X still, or are you allowed to, for some of these companies that come to you, maybe this is an extra feature, but allowed to help them to structure themselves so that they can be listed on the platform?
Yes. So so it is kind of like a little bit of a hybrid between, this is coming from our management consulting.
Right.
We realized that without being structured properly, if a guy says, you know, I want to be the next Google, he can't give up 51% of his company in seed funding. You know, he has to have chunks of his company to be able to do additional rounds of financing. And so the structure and the financial structure of a company is just as important as the business itself, because otherwise you run into a wall that stops you from moving beyond that. And then those companies just basically, they become zombie companies for the next, I don't know, 10, 20 years until someone in the corporate setting is brave enough to rip out the whole financial model, which is very difficult to do, by the way, once you stagnate as a company. So what the Americans have discovered in Silicon Valley is you just set these companies up from the beginning to grow as fast as possible, because growth is everything. And so what you have now is you have companies in Silicon Valley that are literally going from foundation to NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, billions of dollars of value in 7-8 years.
Right.
7-8 years. Imagine that. That's not even, that's like, you know, you send your kids to school, 6th through 12th grade, and that's that the company goes from 6th to 12th grade and is now worth several $billion. I mean, so we can do that here too. We have the minds to do it here too, but without the structures, it was never going to happen.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of magic walk into the office?
I'm seeing a lot of magic.
Really?
And where you really see it is, you see it when you have, like I said, that team that's multidisciplinary walk in, because then at that point it's like, okay, this guy has some of these great qualities, and then this guy over here, or this lady over here is filling in the gaps. And it's really that, and people who understand that they need each other to kind of make this thing work, because nobody can go after a big whale by themselves, you know, a whale of an opportunity by themselves. You need teams of people to do it. And so that's what it's about, allowing them to, we at Arawak X are there, allowing them to tell their story, take it to the market, and then let the market decide, which is what business is about, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back with more. We're talking with DRC Rahming Jr. and Timothy Bain with Arawak X. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with Chester Robards, and we're talking with DRC Rahming Jr. and Timothy Bain with Arawak X. And what's this now?
So I am, and I didn't intentionally do this, because I have my spiel about how I'm only allowed to say public information.
But well, you have an announcement to make.
Yes. So Red Lobster has passed its minimum raise.
Oh, wow.
What?
So it went through compliance. So now it's up. You can check it out on the website. Yeah.
Well,
Right while
that's
we were on air.
amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. So let's break that down. What does that mean exactly? They met the minimum they intended to raise.
Correct.
And now what does that mean can happen?
So what that means is that there will be a Red Lobster in the Bahamas.
Wow.
Yes. And so that's what's about to happen. Now, there's still time. They have a maximum, so they can still take some more investment, but there will be a Red Lobster. So,
well, this is
That
amazing.
is,
that's
great.
Congratulations to everybody involved there, including you all, Arawak X. That's some good stuff there.
Well, it's like we say, it's about the market deciding. It's ideas and business people, et cetera, while they're figuring it out, it takes time. And so once you get the right combination and the right mix, if the market says it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. That's what free market capitalism is supposed to be about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what does it say to you? What does it say about Bahamians and the money that's in the market, even though people are saying this has been such a rough year and a half and so many
Well, people
hits
always
were taken?
Yeah, and it has been a rough year for most. And I think what it's saying is that people have realized that in order for you to save, to have money for a rainy day, a time like COVID, you have to invest. You have to take the money that you do have and put it to work for yourself somewhere. Because otherwise, because like I say, right now with the twin pillars of our economy, it's another global bump, which seems to happen every 10 years. I'm sorry, I'm a millennial. I don't know really any good times in my life. It's, you know,
Oh,
it's every 10 years, the economy goes for a giant shock. And it's really only the people with assets that make it through that relatively unfazed. I wouldn't say unfazed, but are able to survive that. And so with Arawak X, you can now participate. And that's what it's about.
Wow. Okay. This is very exciting stuff here. For the companies that are sitting back and watching and trying to see if this was going to work, and now are like, okay, maybe I can do this. What would you say to them?
I would say bring your ideas to the market. Like I say, we have a ton of really great entrepreneurs. I'm not the only millennial that is a great entrepreneur. I know there's a bunch of Gen Xers and I wouldn't say and baby boomers that have excellent ideas. Bring your ideas to the market. Not only will you be able to use crowdfunding to market and expand your customer base, but you'll also expand your support base in a way that wasn't possible in the past. And so it's also what it does is it creates an environment where people will walk up to you and say, hey, I was in your restaurant and I noticed that waitress over there did some nonsense. Okay, you wouldn't have that information because business in the 21st century is about information. And the more you can pull your community into your business, the more effective your business is going to be.
Yeah. All right, we've got a call. Let's take this call, and you can call in as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, and text us. 422-4796. We've got a few text messages too. We'll get to those in a bit. But caller, good morning. Your Morning Blend Business. Are you there? Did we lose the call? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Okay. This person's asking on our text line, what percent is paid on the minimum investment?
Percent paid on the minimum investment.
guess
So
it
like
is,
a fee, how much is the fees to invest? Is that what you're?
I think they're
Might be
asking how much
their
they're going to
returns.
return.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, the
again,
returns?
yeah.
So it's a pure equity play, which means that you grow in proportion to the major shareholders. So if they are able to 10x their shares, you 10x yours. If they're able to do more than that, they'll do more than that. So I can't say as a percentage. It's not like a structured product where they design it for you to get a certain percentage back. you have full exposure to the company,
Okay.
risk and the reward of it.
Right. Now, this is also a tricky one. Do you think in this small country, in this small market, that there's the potential that the well could run dry? That after a few more of these successful crowdfunding initiatives, or companies that sign up for this, that at some point, like, okay, well, everybody's tapped.
Well, let me just say, let me give some. This is data that central bank data. There's about 2.6 billion Bahamian dollars out there that are not doing anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'd have to do quite a few.
Billion with a B?
With a B, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually $1 billion in cash that they can't find. So it's probably under people's mattresses. No, I'm serious. Like Bahamian dollars, yeah. So it's we have to remember that our twin pillars of tourism and financial services were really good to us. We're a relatively well-off nation. Now, what we're talking about is how to get to the next level. And how you get to the next level is you take those earnings that are pretty good, and you put them into investment vehicles that can grow because that's all it is. Like we earn as much money as Americans did in the 70s and 80s. There are very few countries in the world that do that. I mean, we make more money than the Polish on a per capita basis, and Poland has a booming economy. So I say all that to say that Bahamians are not poor. We just don't have ways of turning that income into wealth. And well, let me just say we need more ways of turning that income into wealth, because there are ways already existing. But we're adding a new asset class so that people can participate in some of the riskier but also more rewarding aspects of finance.
All right, so you definitely launching your third company
Monday.
on Monday, and you said it is a process. So do you have some others who are working through the process right now?
So we have 11 that are close.
Wow.
200 and something that have reached out, but I'm assuming some of them are not going to be able to meet the standards. Yeah. So it's a hunger. It's a hunger, and we're actually having companies reach out from us from the rest of the Caribbean, even some American companies that are looking to move down here. And recently, we had a conversation with some folks on the western side of the island. Some European companies are trying to move here and list and to do to crowdfunding. So there's always more ideas in the world than there is capital. That's the beautiful thing about this space, and it's just about finding the right ones where we can participate, that have the right ethos, that want to make our country a wonderful and beautiful place. Because this is a sweet country. It just needs to be a little bit sweeter financially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it possible that there have been people, if this is how the platform works, outside of the Bahamas investing in these companies?
Absolutely. We're working now. International investment is a regulatory. Let me just say, it's takes a lot of regulatory work. So we're working through that regulatory work, but it's the internet. So that means at some point we can foresee a place where you can, reach out to anyone anywhere on the world that's connected to the internet and raise money from them. Now, that's, like I said, there's a whole lot of regulatory stuff in between that, but that's the end goal, is to be able to raise money from wherever you are, from investors anywhere in the world for projects that are happening here and in this region.
All right. So if you didn't sign up before, when the first two companies were launching, and you're hearing about this now, you're all excited about the Red Lobster thing, and you heard the third company that you're about to launch on Monday, what do you need to do if you are interested in investing? Remind folks of what they will be required.
So go to arawakx.com, click I'm an investor. It takes 5 minutes. We've got the process to signing up down to 5 minutes. You need passport, NIB card, and there'll still be some other information depending on what you select. 5 minutes to go through the compliance process, 17 questions. If you want to sign up for someone that's under 18, what you do is you do a joint account, and then and that's the way to do it. So it's really quick and super simple. We worked really hard to revamp the process because the initial process wasn't making any sense. We've been listening to our crowd in our community, and we took the necessary steps to reduce it down to that 5 minutes. And so once you do that, you'll receive an email once it goes through compliance with your account information, and then you'll be ready to invest.
Yeah. And you said you can register now. You don't necessarily have to register, invest in the company that's coming up on.
Nope, you don't have that. It's free to register. Once you register, then when something hits your appetite, because we all have different types of industries that we like. We all have different companies. We all have different risk profiles that we like. But register now, and you'll be able to, when something pops up, you'll be able to take advantage of that as soon as possible.
And
so,
you can invest in several of the companies.
Exactly, and that's what we advise. That's a really common, really good strategy to diversify your portfolio. I'm sure you've heard that if you listen to finance stuff. Yeah. So diversify your portfolio. Don't put all of your. This is not necessarily money that is for your. It's certainly not your pension money. Don't do that. But this is money that you can place a relatively. If you lose it, it's not going to hurt you. But if it grows 10 times, it's going to be a plus. So that's the type of money that you should be putting in these kinds of investments. And for everybody, that's a different number. So
yeah. And if you are a company and you want to be considered now, and what's the process for them?
Go right on arrowacx.com, click I'm a founder or I'm a company, and fill out the form, and someone from our equities team will make sure to get in contact with you, and then we'll start the process. The first thing is a Zoom or face-to-face evaluation meeting, and then we'll tell you where in the process that you are. Some companies are ready to go, and some companies are actually not ready to go. And so we would put them with a business developer in our network to make sure to get them to that point.
Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hey, this is back in White along with you, Dwight, and of course your guest, and of course Chester.
Hi.
Right, couple of questions. Right. First, I want to say it's good to have America having business in the Bahamas. But what I want to ask you, right? You read something earlier about a greenhouse in the Bahamas. How much the Chinese want for those greenhouse?
I believe they were a gift, right, Chester? That was
yes, they were
a gift.
Gift. The Chinese don't give gift for nothing.
You sure?
I'm sure. Would you investigate that so you could give the Bahamian public the facts of those situations?
Okay. All right. You have any questions for our guest with Arawak X? No? Okay. All right. So Chester, you've got a project there to find out what they're up to. All right. So let's just go through that breaking news again, DRC. This is great news. If people just tuning in and missed that earlier.
And it even broke to me. So that should tell you that I just got a text message in the middle of this thing.
All right. Remind. And what was their minimum? Can you say what the minimum was?
Minimum is 1.5.
Okay, wow. So they raised over 1.5 million.
So they actually at 1
60...
point, they're at 1 point, hold on, I'm just pulling it up right now, quick. They're at 1.721975. That's what I have right now. And they can go up to a maximum of 2.7.
Okay. And they did that in about 60 days?
60 odd days, So, I mean, that's, and remember what crowdfunding allows you to do is, it shows you that there's demand in the market for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so you can, of course, use that as leverage for investors of all kinds.
And the company is trading here. Is it Pinnacle? Is that right?
Pinnacle, yeah, Pinnacle
Yeah.
Food Brands.
Right. Okay. So Red Lobster is
Yep,
coming. All right.
it's coming
Wonderful, wonderful stuff there.
Not only to the Bahamas, but
to the
Caribbean wide, huh?
region.
Right. That
That's
was
right.
their plan for the whole
Right.
region. And
Mhm.
okay, that is very exciting stuff, and I'm sure we can't wait to hear again. No other teaser you can tell us about Monday.
Oh, I can tell you that they're young.
Mhm.
They're some of the smartest women you'll ever meet, and they're passionate about what they do,
Mhm.
and that is it.
Okay. All right. So we just a few more days. We'll see. This is very exciting stuff. DRC Rahming Jr., always a pleasure. And Timothy Bay, I know you're there working hard as well. Thanks so much. And Arawak X, exciting stuff. We're going to take our final break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned. And we are back here with Morning Blend Business, wrapping things up on this Wednesday morning. And yeah, a lot of opportunities. We've got to get people thinking like this and not just waiting and depending on handouts. So we've got the power, right? Right,
That's
DRC
right.
Rahming? Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It's time, I believe, that we as a country make that next jump.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is definitely helping. This is helping. We're wishing you all the best and keep us
Well,
posted.
thank you. We're doing our part, and but it's up to the business community and the investment community to do their part as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. DRC Rahming Jr., Timothy Bain, thank you very much. That is it for us today. Chester Robards.
Sir.
We'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strawn, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.